So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Beatrice Stephen Pons. I'm an employer outreach coordinator with GoDCGo.
And I'm Riley Buckholtz. I'm also an employer outreach coordinator at GoDCGo.
And we are here today to discuss practical tips to support summer commuting through sustainable commuter benefits and heat and weather emergencies. And as you're all filtering in, we have a Q&A. Please feel free to leave any of your questions there throughout the presentation. We will do our best to answer your questions, but there will also be time at the end to review and answer anything that hasn't been answered during this presentation. Okay, so we can begin with some light housekeeping with our agenda. We're going to be covering what is GoDCGo for those of you who have yet to work with us and those of you who may need a refresher. From there, we're going to talk about why we're even considering the needs of summer when building out our commuter programs and what unique considerations are important to plan for. From there, we're going to talk about what those tips may be, and then we're going to segue into discussing ways that you can prepare for weather emergencies and just extreme heat that might be a lot harder to handle than just a normal hot and humid day. From there, we're going to talk about how you can work with us and how we can help support you to refine whatever programs you currently have or are interested in pursuing. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our employer recognition program to get recognized for all the work that you are doing to support your commuters. Lastly, we'll be having some time for questions. And without further ado, I'll pass it off.
All right, so many of you may already be familiar with us, but for those of you who aren't, hello, we are GoDCGo, an initiative of the District Department of Transportation. We offer a wide range of free services and are essentially a one-stop shop for all transit information and resources across the district. We educate, encourage, and support people in exploring sustainable ways of getting to work and getting around the city more broadly. Through these efforts, we've been able to and continue to reduce traffic congestion, improve air quality, and enhance the overall quality of life in the DC area. All right, so we'll start out with the considerations for commuting during the summer. So why is this something that we need to address? Well, DC is notorious for its hot and humid summers. The weather during these months can affect mood and productivity, causing symptoms such as drowsiness, brain fog, mental fatigue, dehydration, and even heat exhaustion. These conditions can be brought on by heat waves and days with temperatures over 100 degrees. Last year, in 2025, this led to more than 300 people in DC needing medical treatment for heat-related illness. And that's just in DC. In neighboring states such as Maryland, there were 34 heat-related fatalities. So this is not something to take lightly. These health concerns can be exacerbated during inclement weather events such as smog, wildfires, thunderstorms, and flash flooding, which is why general emergency preparedness is so important. All right, we'll start with one of the most practical and feasible ways to support employees during this time, establishing an employee transportation coordinator, or as we call it, an ETC. This person serves as a central point of contact for employees who have questions or just want to know more about their commuter benefits, including related programs and resources. The ETC can also be a designated voice to encourage safe practices such as reminding staff to wear sunscreen and hats, use bug spray, and carry a fan and water bottle during their commute. Another way to support employee safety is to adjust workplace expectations. So if possible, and this will vary by industry, one option is to relax the dress code. For example, this may look like shifting from business attire to business casual during summer months. Allowing employees to wear looser, more breathable clothing is not only more comfortable and better for their well-being, but it can improve their productivity too. Implementing a telework policy for certain days allows employees to avoid traveling in the heat altogether. And if remote work isn't possible at your workplace, offering a flexible schedule is another great option. This way, employees are still in the office, but they can come in earlier or leave later to avoid commuting during the hottest parts of the day. Another practical tip for supporting employees during the summer months is to enhance the amenities at your work site. So if you don't already offer them, consider adding showers, lockers, and water stations so employees, especially those who walk or bike to work, have a place to rehydrate, store commuting gear or bike helmet, and shower off so they can start the workday feeling prepared and comfortable. Installing transit displays in your lobby or near the front desk that show weather updates and public transportation schedules can also help employees plan ahead for their upcoming commute. Adding outdoor shelters gives staff a place to wait for transit out of the sun or rain, depending on the weather. And mosquito management is another important consideration as we approach summer. I mean, I have already been bitten, and I know some people are allergic to these bites. So taking steps to control mosquitoes around your building can make the area more comfortable and safer for both staff and visitors. And you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the slide to view our vendor list if you're interested in adding any of these amenities, or book a consultation with us to explore solutions and other amenities that aren't included on the list. All right, so now that the cold weather is behind us and it is finally warm enough for people to break out their bikes, consider a Capital Bike Share corporate membership. It is free to enroll and reduces what is typically a $120 annual membership to just $70 for employees. So you only pay per sign up, and you can choose to cover the full membership or subsidize half. So you would pay $35 per sign up and the employee would cover the other $35. And with more than 800 docking stations across the DC metro area, Capital Bike Share is widely accessible, making this a great commuting option to offer employees. If you're interested, you can scan the QR code to access our enrollment form, or again, book a consultation to reach out to us for more details and to talk through logistics. And then we can pause for a second so you have time to scan.
So while in the summer months it might be more pleasant to go on a bike ride, enjoy the sunshine and all of that, it also can be really quite hot. So some people might opt for an e-bike instead of the standard bikes. And one way that you can support your employees during the summer months is possibly considering an e-bike subsidy. So outside of Capital Bike Share, there's a lot of e-bike providers in the DC area, and you can have a subsidy to apply to any one of those providers as well. One of the advantages of having the Capital Bike Share corporate program is that it's pretty cost effective to get an e-bike on top of that. It's 15 cents per minute. There's no unlock fee, and members can also dock for free at any of the stations or near a full station. So most rides end up costing between $2.25 or $4.50. So putting an employer subsidy on top of that can be pretty effective and pretty low cost to actually cover. Another completely free way to help your employees offset the cost of using e-bikes during the summer is to promote the Bike Angels program. Basically, how the program works is any station that might be really full and have a lot of bikes will have an up arrow you can see on the right hand side with a black background and white text. That is what like an up arrow looks like, and that basically just indicates that participants can gain a point by picking up a bike from that station. And then on the left hand side you can see the down arrow with the white background and black text, indicating that that is a station where participants can drop off a bike in order to get a point. That does not work in the opposite direction. You cannot get points by dropping off at a pickup station. And with these points, you can redeem them for cash towards e-bike rides within the Capital Bike Share app. You can also get extra points for arrows that happen to be pink. And you can also occasionally earn double points after 1 point earning trip for a limited period of time.
Another free program that is incredibly beneficial to offer your staff is Guaranteed Ride Home. All you have to do is register and commute sustainably at least twice a week. So that's by carpooling, van pulling, biking, scooting, walking, or taking public transportation to work. The region will then provide up to 6 free rides home per year in the event of emergency. So this is essentially commuter insurance. And it's especially valuable during the summer months because you can't always plan ahead for weather emergencies, but having this service available helps both you and your staff navigate those situations as safely as possible. And I'll also pause here so anyone who would like to scan the QR code to register can do so. All right, so we've gone over new policies, amenities, and benefits you can incorporate, but a great place to start is by enhancing your existing commuter benefits. Gathering employee feedback is an excellent first step, whether that looks like an open door policy, office hours, or staff surveys. Hearing about employees' commutes and their thoughts on current benefits can help to identify the areas that need the most attention. GoDCGo, more specifically Baytrees and I, can help review or create surveys and analyze the feedback to identify the aspects of your commuter benefits that need strengthening. And then we can work to customize solutions to better meet employees' needs. Enhancing existing programs may also include supplementing Guaranteed Ride Home. For example, Guaranteed Ride Home offers only 6 free rides per year. So to be more accommodating, you could provide, say, an additional 6 rides for staff members who have used up all the ones provided by the region. Or you could use Guaranteed Ride Home as a model and create and customize an entirely new program. Some employers choose this path so they can tailor the policy to meet the specific needs of their business. And again, GoDCGo is here to help talk you through creating a new policy or enhancing existing ones at your work.
Okay, so at this point, we've covered a lot of different strategies for supporting your commuters throughout the summer months. Um, of course, there will be instances where there may be particularly hot days or emergency weather that is best to make sure you have a protocol in place to ensure that you are informed throughout this time. So that can mean signing up for weather alerts, metro alerts, as well as Alert DC for severe weather, transportation incidents, and traffic advisories. Once you know that you have whatever information might be pertinent to your employees and their commutes and thinking about their workday ahead, having a really consolidated and reliable channel of communication is critical so that your employees can get the information they need in advance before they start their workday. So one big part might be the considerations of extreme heat. So if there is a day that through the weather alerts or however you are getting your information, you see that there's going to be an extremely hot day, you can employ a wide variety of different strategies. Some of it could be temporarily compressing the work week. So if there's one day in particular that it might be most safe for people to not come to work, then you can shift the schedule that way. You can use flex time in a similar fashion to how we discussed earlier, as well as with telework, letting employees work a little bit later so they can leave a little bit earlier. And then also you can try shifting the work hours according to the forecasted peak. So this would be if you were, this would be like a great thing to put out in that dedicated information channel. So if you know, okay, it's going to be perhaps most advisable for people to start their day a little bit earlier and leave a little bit earlier or something of that fashion. Putting that information out as soon as possible is critical. Similarly, if there are instances where your staff typically will have in-person engagements, whether to see external clients or partners, offering the option to shift these engagements to virtual formats whenever possible is also a great way to keep both your staff and whoever they may be meeting with in a safe position. And also having a protocol that is established in advance so that switching the format can get timely approval is also really important, just so that your employees are not in the position of being in a kind of limbo, not sure what they should do, but being aware that there might be these weather advisories out. If your staff are still commuting to the office and going about their general workday, it's also important to put out information to encourage breaks as well as for people to take breaks for water, especially if it's close to times where they might be exposed to the heat, whether during their commute or particular work tasks. Um, and then, especially when you set up hydration stations and have like water fountains and things like that, in addition to encouraging people to have those breaks and stop for water, it might be helpful to post information around those areas about how to watch for signs of heat illness. That way, it's not just falling to the discretion and the responsibility of the ETC to get that information out there, but staff can look out to keep each other safe and by having that information of what might be a sign that one of their colleagues could be suffering from some heat related illness. Now, beyond just extreme heat, there's a lot of different emergencies that can pop up in terms of weather during the summer months. And so it's just critical to make sure that in whatever emergency plans you may already have, to include a transportation section where you can designate the ETC as a central point of contact and information. Depending on the emergency, it may be wise to plan for alternative commute options and have information on hand so that employees can look to trying to get home by transit if that would be a more viable option, as well as by biking, Capital Bike Share, etc. GoDCGo offers our Get Around guides, which offers tailored information on how to get to your specific worksite, and those are available completely for free upon request. Also, it's depending on what the emergency may be, it can also be helpful to establish carpool groups in advance, especially if you have a lot of employees who maybe regularly don't drive to work and you have some employees who do. Setting people up into groups in advance can be a really important way to help people get home safely at the end of the workday or in an emergency evacuation kind of situation. Along those lines, it's also important to select a meeting point in advance so that if people need to evacuate the building, they can be in a secure place and make sure everyone is safe and accounted for. And this is also particularly important for those emergency carpool or vanpool groups so that those groups can coalesce, come together, and then get home safely in an efficient manner. And to help coordinate all of this in the background, once again, maintaining that reliable channel of communication so your employees know where to look to learn about developments and what they should be doing in the case of emergency is also incredibly important. So, we've talked already about a lot of different ways that we can work with you and support you in preparing for the summer, extreme heat, and different weather emergencies. But every worksite is completely different and unique. And so, we highly encourage you to sign up for one of our free consultations. The QR code is here on the screen. And in our conversation, we can learn more about the needs of your specific industry, of your specific circumstance and worksite, and work with you to develop a program or refine programs to both meet the needs of this season. I'll stop here for a second as well so people can scan this QR code. Okay. So, if you are not already aware, we have a Transportation All-Star Awards program where we basically recognize employers who are doing exceptional program development to support their employees for their commutes sustainably to the work site. And for any programs that you may already have in place or be looking to implement, we offer 4 levels of recognition with increasing marketability, desirability, and visibility for your organization. We have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. For anyone who is interested in applying to our program, the QR code is on the right-hand side. And anyone who applies today is eligible for 3 free Capital Bike Share day passes that you can raffle off to your employees, which could be a great way to see if there's interest among your staff in Capital Bike Share. And once again, if you are interested in the Capital Bike Share corporate program, you can reach out to us and we can help facilitate signing up for that program as well. And I will also stop here so that people have a chance to scan this QR code. Okay. And now we can stop here for some questions. This is also our contact information, so if anyone needs to jump, you are welcome to grab our email and phone number and reach out to us afterwards as well.